Good morning, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here over the last 2 days. So according to Bernstein analyst Tim Anderson, patent losses that could be jeopardized amount to roughly $30 billion this year. And this is projected to be one of the biggest fall-offs, at least until 2025. Combined with sort of the disappearing act of the blockbuster drug model, these two changes potentially are proving to be a very daunting challenge for the industry and care providers alike. At the same time, we've heard from a number of speakers over the last 2 days about the fact that digital adoption in this industry is still slow. But we believe that customer centricity is driving a ton of momentum. Pricing transparency systems and online scheduling tools are allowing consumers to identify and use discrete, best-in-breed health services from a range of providers. Here's the second thing. We've talked about a lot of the demographic aspects of the consumers that not just the healthcare industry, but every one of you in this room are going to find becoming important to you. The elderly and millennials are going to form significant portions of your customer bases in the future and are going to influence significantly how each one of you rearrange yourselves to serve these consumers better. We find that as more online services exist, the preference to use these services grows. Roughly a third of the audience surveyed were aware of online services in the healthcare segment. And amongst those that were aware of these services, greater than 65% were already using them consistently. Personalized ecosystems of healthcare services will soon be available on people's phones, with consumers being able to choose who and where they interact. They can manage and control access to their personal and health data, and more importantly, they can control where payments and benefits take place. There needs to be a change in the leadership approach, some of which we're seeing already. We're seeing examples of leaders be willing and more open to learning from adjacent industries that are already disrupting themselves, with digital being front and center in their focus. If you think about how technology is changing the way healthcare industry operates, for example, you will find that in a highly externalized, service-oriented industry, technology is going to play an extremely important role, and organizations need to adapt fast to adopt those sorts of changes. Both structured and unstructured data are already creating a ton of fatigue in IT infrastructures globally. Is that there's an increasingly growing trend for discovery, dialogue, and collaboration taking place on social media. With this change comes brand perception damage, for example, when customer experiences and services are not responded to in real time. There needs to be a lot more collaboration within the enterprise. There needs to be different ways of thinking about how to foster that collaboration, because a lot of the ideas that each one of you could take advantage of come from people in the field every day. The change around you is happening so fast that if you sit there without accepting the reality, change won't take place. Now, there are roughly probably 10 to 15% of us in this room who love change. We love the fact that we can adapt to change, we can learn from the opportunities that change presents to us. But the vast majority of the 85 to 90% of us in this room probably hate change. How do you encourage and nurture risk-taking? None of this change happens without a sense of risk, and more importantly, none of this change happens without an acceptance of failure. Experiments need to happen constantly. Encouraging those experiments means dealing with the failures of some of those experiments while celebrating the success of others. Fail with certainty. This is another thing that we do every day at the company is, look, you're going to try an experiment, try it fast, come up with a conclusion, learn from it, move forward. Not encouraging that type of behavior means that you dwell too much time on things that aren't working as well, perhaps, when you actually need to move on. Digital has to be something that the entire organization lives and breathes. So where does Facebook fit into all of this? Our mission is to make the world open and connected. From collaboration through groups and messaging and customer experience and customer relationship management, all the way through connectivity, artificial intelligence, and augmented and virtual reality. We are now a family of apps and services, and we're no longer the same company that people think we were. How many of you knew we were in any one of the areas in the third part of this slide? direct-to-consumer e-commerce as a huge opportunity, for example, in the future for everyone in this room, especially because the same preference that a person is exercising in healthcare to choose best-in-breed discrete services is happening in the logistics industry as well. It takes a community to change the world, and I'm looking forward to participating with each one of you as beneficiaries as well as actionists in making that change felt. Thank you so much for your time.